Hello everyone, welcome back, and thank you for joining us on the Live Unreal with Glover U podcast, where every week, Jeff Glover will dive deep into the questions that you are asking. He understands the challenges you are facing on a day-to-day basis because he still works every day on the front lines of real estate, with him and his team closing over 1,000 homes per year. Today, Jeff will share with you the truth of real estate. We'll learn from Jeff the 17 things you should stop doing and start doing right away to succeed at a high level in real estate. Now, let's hear from Jeff Glover.
Over the past, I would say 6 months or so, I've been paying attention to what's been going on in the market, obviously what's been going on in the real estate industry, what's been going on with top producers, medium-sized producers, large teams, small teams, and really just keeping an eye on the trends that I'm seeing take place. And I've really put a lot of time and thought into some of these thoughts that I'm going to share with you. And my hope is that it impacts you in one way or another, depending on where you're at in your business. And the reality is it really doesn't matter where you're at in your business, because whether you're an up-and-comer, you're a big producer, or on a large team, or have a large team, or whatever, a lot of what I'm going to share today will apply to you. Whether it applies to you today or not is a different story, but it'll apply to you at some point in your career in this business. So part of what kind of motivated me to put this list together is there's not a lot of people in the industry telling the truth. And what I mean by that is I think a lot of people in this industry, quite frankly, aren't really sure what's going on. They're not really sure about what's happening. And I think that there's a lot of hypotheticals, there's a lot of theories around, there's a lot of what ifs taking place. And the reality is that people aren't paying enough attention to what's happening now and taking advantage of the opportunities that are available today, and essentially spending too much time focusing on the wrong things. So I put a list together, and also with the help of some of our coaches at Glover U, Kate Simon helped me with this as well, of just kind of the things that we've observed over the last 3 months, 6 months, and things that just need to be said and heard in the industry. And the reason for that, again, is because people are focusing on the wrong things. There's no way you can get to a point where you can succeed at a high level with a lot of the crap, if you will, that's taking place in the industry. So we decided it made sense to put together a list of essentially what agents should be spending more time on and what they should be spending less time on. Now, what's really cool about this list, because obviously, I have a lot of friends on Facebook that aren't in the real estate business. So what's really cool about this list, that a lot of it applies to really any industry, not just the business. But for those of you that are in the real estate business, I hope you gain a lot. And if you're not, I hope you get something out of it as well. So this list is 17 points long, and you never know. Sometimes I add in a bonus point or I get on a tangent and, it ends up being 18 or 19. But I've got 17 things that I want to share with you. And I do expect there will be some debate. There are going to be some things that I say that downright go against some of the things that you've heard that are important in the industry today. And so I expect that there's going to be some debates and there's going to be some devil's advocate type thinking and so forth. And that's okay. I'm open for that. The other thing I want to point out is that when we put out the original promotion for this, if you will, there are some things that may offend you. There are some things in here when I'm looking at my notes that go against a lot of the things that people are doing or people are thinking they need to do to succeed. And so this isn't necessarily meant to offend anyone. This isn't directed at anyone. Of course, if you do get a little offended or you do get a little bothered by it, then certainly that's a good thing, right? If you're uncomfortable, you're growing. So I anticipate there's going to be some sort of debate or disagreement that this may start, and that's okay. Again, I've got 17 thoughts. I'm going to jump into those now. So if you've got a pen and paper and you want to follow along, feel free. If you just want to watch, that's great too. Again, the theme of this is spend less time doing something and more time doing something. And I've got 17 things I want to share with you. So number one, and these are in no particular order, by the way. In order to succeed today, we need to spend less time researching new models and systems and more time picking one and sticking to it. for at least a year. We have to stop chasing the magic pill, the magic lead source, the magic solution. Well, now that this is out, oh my gosh, my business is going to explode. I need to switch to this because so-and-so is working on this, and they do a lot of business, so it must be right. The mistake a lot of agents make is instead of picking one system and mastering it, they bounce around. They spend way too much time researching and way too much time looking at what the next best thing is versus mastering what is good now. For instance, you may have a system on a scale from 1 to 10 or a source or whatever. Let's say it's maybe a 7 or an 8 on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being weak, 5 being average. Let's say it's a 7.5 or an 8. Well, I would rather you master your 7 or your 8 or your 7.5 than chase the 9 or 10 that comes out every single year. All right, master what you have and get better at what you have before you chase something else. You have to think about the amount of time spent learning something else and the amount of time spent researching. Waste of time. Number 2, I wrote down. Spend less time fighting the brokerage battle and paying attention to who's going where, and more time fighting the value to clients war. All right? Spend less time fighting the brokerage battle and paying attention to what brokerages are doing, and this company is now a recruiting company, and that company is now a multi-level marketing company, and this company, used to have great profit share, and now this company's better. Stop fighting and following the brokerage battle. Who gives a crap? We're in the business to sell real estate. Our value and what should we be chasing is how we can add value to clients and add value to our database. All right. You didn't get in this business to be a recruiter. Why are you spending all time? Why do you think all of a sudden you had some average success at real estate sales that all of a sudden you're going to be an amazing recruiter? I've got news for you. You're going to do a lot better recruiting buyers and sellers than you will at recruiting agents. Why is that? Well, because of the turnover in this industry. Everyone seems to forget about the amount of turnover that takes place in this industry. Stop chasing and fighting the brokerage battle and paying attention to what brokers are doing this, and now they implemented this, and now we have to do this. Why? I had a conversation with one of our coaching clients today, and she brought up, I'm real concerned. I had a conversation with this person, and they said this, and if I need to know who I need to get involved with, and I could be involved with the wrong people, and what do you think I should do? And my response was, why are we talking about this? What? Who cares who said what or who's doing what? Just keep your head down and go to work. The only way to get noticed in this industry is to get results, which probably could be a bonus point number 18, because unfortunately we're in an industry where people get wrongful recognition, and then next thing you know, people are following them and learning how to be low producers. You get recognition and you get followed in this industry by being known for getting results. Spend less time fighting the brokerage battle and paying attention to who's going where, and more time fighting the value to clients war. Number 3, I wrote down. Spend less time figuring out how technology can help you follow up with your clients so you don't have to, and more time on your sales skills. Spend less time figuring out how technology can help you follow up with your clients so you don't have to, and more time on your sales skills. The bottom line is, even if that technology makes our life easier, which we love, don't get me wrong. I love the brokerage that I'm with and the technology that they're rolling out, because I, number one, don't have the brain to put that stuff out there. Number 2, couldn't afford to produce what they're producing. So I love it. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean I can stop what I'm doing over here. That doesn't mean I can give up my sales skills and buyer consultation training and the listing presentation training. Last time I checked, the goal is to set an appointment. To do what? To get in front of a buyer and get in front of a seller. Okay, well, what about what you say when you get in front of them is going to improve? How is that going to change? The reality is, what we say when we get in front of them isn't changing much. All right, we still have to go on listing presentations. We still have to go on buyer consultations. Even if a robot, artificial intelligence does converting for us, that's great. I love that idea. But the bottom line is, if the system converts the leads and you have no sales skills, now what? You got a bunch of leads. And by the way, this isn't one of my points, so here we go. Here's the bonus. See, I just get going sometimes. Can we define what a lead is? All right. Somebody that inquires, somebody that gives you their contact info because they're interested in something that they saw online, that's not a lead. That's prospect. That's a contact. Just because you have someone's name, phone number, and email address doesn't make it a lead. All right. It's not a lead when you have someone's name, phone number, email address. It's a lead once there's a well-defined timeline on when they're going to buy and sell. And if you're a high producer, you're only working with leads that are going to be doing something in less than 30 or 60 days. This whole idea of, oh my gosh, I got 2,000 leads in my database last week. I paid 89 cents for each one of those. Why? You have contact information. You can get that a lot easier than paying for leads. These aren't leads. These are people that are going to be doing something 6-12 months from now. And guess what? Guess who's going to get that lead? The person that is willing to pick up the phone and do the follow-up for that long. Well, I'm not willing to pick up the phone and follow up for 6-12 months. Then fine, you're going to pay $100 or $200 for a high-level lead. I'd rather pay $100 for a lead that's ready to go right now than $1.20 on a lead that's going to clog up my system and only for me to have to go find the ones that are willing to do something. Why is that? Well, because the bad leads cloud the good leads. All right. At the end of the day, I'd rather have less highly motivated and people that are looking to buy or sell right now than thousands of contacts. What's going to happen is the hot leads, the ones that are looking to do something now, are going to get lost in the shuffle. Spend less time figuring out how technology can help you follow up with your clients so you don't have to, and more time on your sales skills. You still have to go on listing presentations. You still have to go on buyer consultations. You're going to compete with the best of the best. All right. I love the idea of systems doing artificial technology to get in intelligence to get into conversation. I'm all in favor of that. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, if I'm relying on that, if I'm thinking that's the foundation, I'm going to lose. All right. All the technology today should be layered on top of what we're doing. All right. They're supplemental to what we're doing. If we think today's technology is the foundation, we'll never get to the next level. Next thing I wrote down, spend less time worrying about your image on Facebook and more time worrying about your bank account. Spend less time worrying about your image on Facebook and more time worrying about your bank account. Since when do we get our security from social media? Seriously, what is all this validation we need? Do we get validated and next thing you know, we have $1,000 show up in our bank account? I can't tell you how crazy it is to see everyone chasing all this online validation. How is that helping your bank account? And more importantly, how is that helping your customers? Get over it. You've got friends, you've got family. Share that kind of stuff with them. What's the point of showing off online? Guess what? Your clients are researching that. You think they really want to see that stuff? Your values to your clients. Who's really winning here? Spend less time worrying about your image on Facebook, more time worrying about your bank account. And stop getting your security from Facebook, social media, and what people think. Next, I wrote down number 5. Spend less time trying to figure out the fastest and best way to grow and more time leading by example. Spend less time trying to figure out the fastest and best way to grow. We got to build this team. We got to go do this. We got to hire a recruiter. All right, we got to do this in the next. No, just lead by example. And then, oh, by the way, hey, for those of you that had the joke out there, okay, there's your first one. All right, so that's it. So maybe there'll be another one before the end of it. Anyways, see, I already lost my train of thought. There was this joke going around of all the things I'm going to say, and they're playing like bingo with all the things that I say. So let me know when you get a bingo. We'll hear somebody shout that out. Okay, less time trying to figure out the fastest and best way to grow, and more time leading by example. You want to grow a big business? Lead by example, and then attract other people that want to lead by example. That's the best way to grow a stable business. Next, I wrote down, spend less time making it all about you and more time making it all about your people. Spend less time making it about you and more time making it all about your people. All right, there's three common needs that people need. All right, security and safety, money, and recognition. Security and safety, money, and recognition. Those are 3 needs of anyone that we're in business with. Security and safety, money, and recognition. And oh, by the way, even though I don't agree with it, which one is most important? Recognition. People want to be recognized. How often are you recognizing your people? How often are you making it about them and not about you? Our goal every single year is to look at what sort of public recognition can we help our agents get a part of. All right. How often are you looking at the public recognition of the people that are associated with you versus yourself? All of our operations and marketing team are constantly putting images and graphics and things together to put our agents on the pedestal. Less time making it all about you, more time making it all about your people. I learned early on from one of my first mentors, Mike Ferry. He said, Jeff, if your people are learning, growing, making money, and having fun, they'll never leave. If they're learning, growing, making money, and having fun. All right, well, I'll tell you what, early on, I made the mistake of making it just about making money. All right, learning, growing, making money, having fun. Number 7, spend less time chasing opportunities for yourself and more time creating opportunities for your people. Less time chasing opportunities for yourself. Now, this is if you're running a business or you have a small team or a large team. Why is your focus always on creating opportunities for yourself? Why aren't you focused on creating opportunities for your people? All right. And Glover U is a perfect example of that. Agents that become high performers in our system have an opportunity to create another opportunity for themselves, right? We have a lot of agents that get into investing real estate, okay? The money that they're earning investing in real estate and the training that we're receiving on how to invest in real estate, they're applying that into something else. Instead of asking, how can this benefit me, ask, how can it benefit my people? Number 8, I wrote down, spend less time figuring out how to get out of production and more time attracting people because of your production. Spend less time figuring out how to get out of production and more time attracting people because of your production. All right? The production that you produce, the listings that you take, the sales that you have is what causes people to be attracted to you. The minute you get out of production, if you don't have a leader in production setting an example, you will lose people because nobody's there to set the example anymore. Besides, how cool is it to work for someone that tells you you need to list and sell real estate when you're not listing and selling real estate? It's amazing how many teams are breaking down and restructuring because they forgot that little point. Spend less time figuring out how to get out of production and more time attracting people because of your production. I wrote down number 9. Spend less time comparing yourself to agents in your office and more time comparing yourself to agents around the country. The biggest mistake agents can make is they look around their office and say, well, I was the top agent of the month last month. I was the top listing agent last month. What does that do for your production? Well, the reality is it stunts your growth. I'm not saying you're in the wrong environment or you're at the wrong office. What I'm saying is instead of comparing yourself to the office, compare yourself to the entire brokerage, compare yourself to the entire MLS, compare yourself to the entire state, compare yourself to the United States. You want to think bigger and have a bigger life and have a bigger business, you have to stop comparing yourself to other people in your office. Those are not your competitors. If they are, then there will always be a lid. And again, it doesn't matter how great your environment is. The reality is that there's more people to look up to outside of any environment than there is inside of it. Number 10, I wrote down, spend less time counting your GCI and your sales volume and more time calculating your profit. Spend less time counting your GCI and your sales volume and more time calculating your profit. Somewhere in the last 5, 10 years, 6 months, 8 months, wherever, there's been so much focus around GCI and sales volume and GCI and sales volume. Well, what happens when you don't have any profit? You can't duplicate it. All right. And then you certainly can't have agents that are going to stick around if there's no profit. Why are you spending so much time in the GCI and the sales volume when you should be watching your profit? Careful how often you use the term reinvest. All right, reinvest is a bit of an overused term. Reinvest, it's like we make excuses. I'm reinvesting. It's okay. I'm reinvesting. Well, you keep reinvesting without results, and it leads to bankruptcy. I also wrote down on that same point, you got to have a short-term memory when it comes to awards and trophies. Okay, every year we've been applying for this coolest places to work award. All right. Well, guess what? In every year when we go through that process, we identify 2 or 3 things that we can improve on. And so instead of saying, holy crap, we won the only real estate brokerage, in Metro Detroit, coolest places to work, instead of buying into that, the fact that we are and just, cool, let's keep everything the same, we're looking at the honest feedback of how we can improve. You have to have a short memory with trophies and awards, right? You get top agent of the month, top lister, whatever it is. That's good. Month's over. Let's move on. Let's get it again. Got to have a short memory. I'm not a great golfer, so that's kind of my saying in golf too. Hey, short memory. We're on to the next hole. I have a bad hole. I have a blow up hole. On to the next hole. Short memory. Number 11, I wrote down, spend less time trying to manage and fix people and more time hiring the right people. Spend less time trying to manage and fix people and more time hiring the right people. That one's straight from my buddy Gary Keller, one of my great mentors. Spend less time trying to manage and fix people and more time hiring the right people. Why would you want this constant turnover because you're trying to improve and trying to fix when you can just take more time hiring the right person? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about giving people the benefit of the doubt. I'm all about giving someone a chance if they show potential. There's no doubt. But if that's all I'm doing, I'm just going to have a revolving door because you're not going to be able to fix everybody. Spend less time managing and fixing people, more time hiring the right people. And I use the example, all right, an executive assistant versus assistant executive, right? When you're hiring for an executive assistant, let's say, you think about the traits that an executive assistant has, right? They're detail-oriented, they're organized. Maybe they're somewhat amiable. Maybe they're good at nurturing and taking care of things. Well, that's great if that's all you want as an executive assistant. But if you want to have a big business, you're going to have an assistant executive someday. And so instead of when you're hiring for the executive assistant, instead of looking for those traits, you look for the traits in an assistant executive. An assistant executive is someone that can replace you, somebody that will make the decisions on your behalf, whether you're there or not. Think about hiring that. Think about the long term. That's what you want long term. So why not hire that as the executive assistant to start? Number 12, I wrote down. And again, these are in no particular order. Spend less time taking advice from strangers on Facebook and more time seeking out a coach that's a good fit for you. Now, of course, you're saying, well, of course, Jeff, Glover, I know you're looking for clients. This must be a sales pitch or solicitation. I don't care whether we're a fit for you or not. A coach that's a fit for you. Spend less time taking advice from strangers on Facebook, right? There's a million Facebook groups out there, and everyone's experts. I got news for you. Most of them are all bought and paid for. All right. They're giving advice that they're being paid to give. So why would you spend a lot of time listening to people that are being paid to give advice? Is it honest advice? Are they really using it? Are they having success with it? Do they have real life examples they can share with you? If they do, then I love it. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with things being sponsored. I mean, you could say the same thing at the back of our events. We have people there that have paid to be there, that keep our ticket costs low. But at the end of the day, every single person that has a booth at one of our events is someone that we're currently in business with and succeeding at a high level. Nobody gets past that rule. So why would you spend time listening to people that are being paid to say things? Seriously, what is the success? Spend less time taking advice from strangers on Facebook and all those Facebook groups and more time seeking out a coach that's a good fit for you. Number 13, spend less time with those that have never done it and more time with those that are doing it. Spend less time with those that have never done it and more time with those that are doing it. I mean, it's amazing to me how many experts there are. They read 10 books. They've belonged to this many groups, they've attended this many seminars, they've managed this many people, and they're going to tell you how to succeed at a high level. I don't understand it. Why aren't you spending time with the people that are doing it? Why would you spend time with someone that hasn't succeeded at something that you're trying to accomplish? Makes no sense to me. Number 14, I wrote down, spend less time buying what everyone is trying to sell you and more time selling yourself on what you know you need to do. Spend less time buying what everyone else is trying to sell you and more time on selling yourself on what you know you need to do. It's so easy to go out and buy this solution, buy this off the shelf, take advantage of that. Let's sign up for this program. Let's buy into that. Why? Spend more time on yourself and what you need to do to get better, convincing yourself that you can do this at a high level. Quit chasing all that stuff. It just slows you down. I wrote down number 15, which you guys know how I feel about this. Spend less time in scarcity and more time in abundance. Spend less time in scarcity and more time in abundance. Who cares if there's not enough to go around? There's always going to be enough to go around. Get over it. Stop thinking and making decisions with that thought. Number 16, spend less time adding prospects to your database and more time looking for leads that actually want to talk to you about real estate. Spend less time adding prospects to your database and more time looking for people that actually want to talk to you about real estate. Right? I know it's high rejection. I know talking to for sale by owners is high rejection. I know talking to expireds is high rejection. But the reality is, in this business, the more rejection you get, the more money you make. The more you buy into this idea that because you set people up on a drip campaign, you're going to have this big business, the smaller the business you're going to have. Why is that? Because you're going to lose to all the people that are willing to go out and get rejected every single day, day in and day out. Spend less time adding prospects to your database and more time looking for leads that actually want to talk to you about real estate. That's where we go back to the whole definition of a lead. What is your definition of a lead? My definition is someone who's going to buy or sell in the next 30 days, period. Are you looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Nope, you're not? Okay, fine. I'll set you up on this drip campaign. Maybe they'll come back to me. Maybe they won't. I jokingly call the CRM, and have for years, because we didn't have a CRM up until 2 years ago. I jokingly called it the trash can because maybe they would come back, right? I remember Mike Ferry used to tell a story about how he would just dump his leads out on the conference table so everybody could go have at them. The reality is, when you spend more time in your system, doing things, setting up campaigns, that is more time for agents like myself to go talk to people who want to buy and sell right now. You're missing out on all the people that want to buy and sell right now by getting distracted by spending all your time in your system. Number 17, I wrote down. Spend less time impressed by your title on your business card and more time learning how to become a productive person. Spend less time impressed by your title on your business card and more time learning how to become a productive person. I wrote down, we're realtors, for gosh sakes. We're salespeople. We're a realtor. And oh, by the way, if you lead other realtors, you're a sales manager. Cut it out with this CEO and director crap. Oh, you're a CEO? Great. If you're a CEO, perfect. Go ahead and introduce me to your board of directors. I would like to see who voted you in. Oh, you don't have a board of directors? That's right. You're in real estate. You're a salesperson. The moment you start buying into the idea that you're a real estate salesperson, you'll master this business. The moment that you get caught up in this whole idea that you're like this big business owner or you're this big CEO, you're going to lose the people that realize that they're salespeople. Oh, you're a director? Perfect. Go ahead and introduce me to the managers that report to you. Oh, you don't have any managers that report to you? How are you a director? Quit worrying about how cool it looks on Facebook and how cool the titles look on your business card. All right? You're a salesperson. You're a realtor. The faster you buy into that, the better off you'll be. And let's get to work. All right. Well, I hope you got a lot out of this. I'm going to go back and review my notes. Maybe we'll have a part 2 because I'm excited to hear the feedback. I know there's going to be some rebuttals. I know there's going to be some great debates started from this. I'm excited for that. I know there's a lot of things I said in here that make a lot of sense. And I know there's a lot of things, I don't have it all figured out. I'm not like Jesus of real estate here. I know that there's definitely things that I can do a better job of. But the reality is if we keep getting distracted by all this other crap in the business, if we keep getting distracted by all these other cool, shiny objects and everything taking place, then we're going to lose sight of what we need to do every day. And that is go out and find a client and provide great service. You go out and find a client and provide great service, you can't lose in this business. The moment you take your eye off that ball, you're going to lose to guys like me. Make it a great day, everyone. See ya.
Thank you for taking your time to join Jeff today on the Live Unreal with Glover U podcast. To succeed at a high level in real estate, take the real estate self-assessment. After you complete the assessment, a member of Glover U will get on a call with you to create an action plan to improve your score. Go to www.gloveru.com/self. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Search for Live Unreal with Glover U on iTunes, Podbean, or Spotify and subscribe today. Until next time, remember, pick one system and stick to it.